Hey, welcome back to another episode of Eric's Camping Adventure. Today I want to talk to you about some things that worked and some things that didn't work on my last trip. First, let me tell you about something that totally worked awesome. Partially my invention, partially putting some things together that worked great in a great combination. So let me tell you something that really worked great on this trip. I am not sponsored by Jackery. I have no interest in sponsored by Jackery, but I have found that the Jackery is a very reliable lithium battery system without some of the risks of doing your own electrical charge controller, solar panels. This is kind of a hybrid system. So if you've watched some previous videos by me, you know that this particular Jackery is charged by 4 eco-worthy panels, which are on top of the pilot, come down through this cord right here and charge the Jackery. During this trip, the actual Jackery never got below 47%, even with all the clouds and the rain. So I used that to power a fridge. It ran on a continuous basis for 1 week, and the lowest it got was 47%. When we got home, it was back at 100% because it charges continuously, being on top when exposed to the sun. The fridge I use, I keep it covered with a little homemade Reflectix cover, kind of stitched together with the old duct tape deal. And this particular fridge here, it's not anything fancy. It's actually very small. I'm not even sure how many quarts it is, but you can see this is the actual brand on it. I bought it off of Amazon. It worked great. Maintained a steady temperature, and I kept it at 36. Worked pretty awesome. So here's some of the statistics on it. Worked great. So one little issue that I've had whenever I am on a rough road, National Forest road, is that my fridge can become unplugged by hitting bumps. And I know you've all experienced that. Before they come up with a $300 fix with this, all I did was I took some rubber bands, hooked it around the little socket, and just strapped it in, and my fridge never came unplugged one time with one bump. Just held it in there nice and firm, no lost connection, no warming of the food while I was driving on a bumpy road. Something that didn't work so great was lugging the big old fire pit up on top the roof storage. It was obtrusive, it stuck out, it looked kind of funny going down the road. It tore the protective weather case that went over the lava rock, just flapping in the wind continuously. It was a pain to lug it up on top and lug it off. I actually thought, maybe I could just take my grinder and chop this thing down and make it a little bit smaller, but then I discovered how many points I had on Amazon, and I decided to take a look at this. This is a small fire pit. This one individually is made by Campchef, and it's just a compact fire ring. There are others out there, but I wanted something small to begin with. It was kind of questionable actually fitting the other one up on top anyway, but this is awesome. It's only 15 inches, and wait till we get this out of the box, you see how small it is. I just recently went on a weekend camp with someone who had one of these, and I was like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. little bit of lava rock. This is a small grate for when you season your lava rock for the first time so you don't blow it up and damage something. And this is the size of the fire ring. It puts out 55,000 BTUs, which is the same as my other one, essentially. The other one actually puts out 58,000 BTUs, but I think this is okay. So this is the guts of the fire ring. It's nothing fancy. You just have a small little tube here with some drilled holes in it. That brings the gas out. That comes in the front of this small fire ring with a valve. And I imagine that valve, you can adjust it so you have, you know, the height of the fire that you want. And nothing too fancy. I've heard that these can be, you know, made very simply out of a pipe in an ammo can with some lava rock. And I'm imagining if there's guys who are doing that, that we're not looking at a element of rocket science here. This is pretty simple. As long as you have a regulator to control your gas flow. So there's one right here inside the package. I think you're probably good to go. Takes a little pressure fitting on the front. And that's it. Most of these fire pits are basically the same. And I'm just going to put the lava rock in here and we'll get a little idea how this is going to work. There we go. There's our fire pit. Not anything too fancy. I bought a little flat surface to put over the heat area just to set it there. I think has potential to, you can put a pot, your coffee pot on top of there, a skillet, depending on how you cook, and then a little area off to the side. Just make it a little oversized so you got some area to keep things warm but not cooking. Camp Chef comes with 2 little free hot dog cookers. See the reverse hook so your hot dogs or buns don't fall off, and you get 2 of them inside the package. The last thing I spent my Amazon points on was a new Dutch oven. It's a little bit bigger. Comes with a top that can be a nice little skillet on top my fire ring. Very easy to do that. Just set it right on there. I got a skillet to cook on, got a nice space. Not sure about setting these little things directly on the rock, so I'm excited about this little grate as a solution for cooking on a fire pit. And of course, it is a 6-quart pot with a little hook. I do have a tripod coming that I can actually hang this directly over the fire pit. Not bad. So I want you to think about this for just a minute. This was $79 on Amazon, and I think that by the time you buy your little bundles of wood, anywhere from $5 to $10 at a campground, you're looking at 8 bundles of wood, and that's not even a week camping. So here, this is already paid for. 2, propane is only $24 for a 20-pound fill right now if you get your propane tank filled. And I'm pretty good with that because on an ongoing basis, I can spend an entire week of propane, 20 pounds lasts me a week, using my old propane fire pit. And this, I think, it'll be a little bit better because it uses 3,000 less BTU, and I don't have the continual expense of the firewood. I do know how to light a fire. I have used many wood fires. You can watch through my camping adventures. You'll see me starting a fire and using wood, and I'm good with that. But the more and more that I see people in campgrounds chopping every low-hanging green branch and then trying to burn it, it's kind of disgusting me, and I'm just steering more towards propane. The dryness in the West has been ongoing and probably isn't going to stop. This overcomes your burn ban 100% of the time. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, cutting every green tree. If your wood that you put in your fire is like bubbling on the end of where it's been cut and it's frothing and foaming, you have green wood in your fire, and that's not what you need to do. If you need to learn some bushcraft technique, that'll teach you how to light a fire with wood, to use dry wood, but not to be cutting every green low-hanging branch in your campsite and ruining the campsite for everyone that comes after you. So this is a solution for ease, for cost, and for burn bans that you really can't beat. To season your cast iron, just take a paper towel with some oil on it, kind of wet the surface, and you're good to go for cooking. To re-clean it, you maybe want to apply a little bit more olive oil. The first time you do this, probably going to end up using a lot of olive oil. Just get the cooking surfaces. You don't need to do the whole pan inside and out. Probably that'd be a great way to catch the thing on fire. Get a little paper towel shreds on this baby as we do it the first time, just because it's rough and not slippery enough. We'll clean that up a little bit. We're going to do the top. This, you can see, it's going to be a great little skillet for cooking something on. Steaks, I can see them on here. Maybe some eggs in the morning, pancakes. This is going to expand my cooking abilities in the backcountry. Just this little setup itself right here. This is a simple compression fitting, and the campchef comes with the tool, so you can disconnect it anytime you want. Hook it back up to the ring. You got your tool right there. This should be a common size actually for all hookups of this type to gas appliances. All right, let's head out back of the house, and we're gonna connect this up to a propane tank and do the seasoning of the lava rock, and put this little grate over it right here, just to make sure if something explodes nothing gets hurt. Come on out back with me. You can see the fire pit is much smaller and much more manageable for overlanding compared to the original fire pit over here. This one did not get retired. It actually got a promotion. It's in our backyard now on our patio. Before we light this up, I just want to show you a little secret. If you've ever used a propane fire pit and you get the poof and you don't like the poof, you can take a little plasma lighter. That's this thing here. It's called a VHE. Got it off of Amazon. And if you look at this real close, you just turn it on, and then you push the button, and you can see the little plasma that runs in there. So you take it, stick this through the hole
right next to where the gas is escaping in that little ring I showed you before, and it'll light up. So right over here, I got a hole coming through the side, exposure to the ring. Turn this on, run it through the hole, put it right up next to the gas ring, hit the power, turn the plasma on, and then slowly turn this on. There we go. Still jump a little bit because I've been scarred by the poof. We're going to let that run for 10 minutes and season the rocks, and we're all done.